We actually recorded it slower than it is on the album. And because of that, we tuned slightly down so that when it got sped up, it would be 440.
Hi everybody, it's Mike here from The Art of Guitar. I guess you could say I have kind of like Master of Puppets fever lately. I've been doing kind of a deep dive ever since people started telling me about these little anomalies in the song that I never knew about. The one I did a video on is doing pretty well. A lot of people thought it was interesting that Cliff Burton actually hits a different note than the guitar players for about 12 hits. So it's not just some weird accident, it's something that he either planned or was just like a serendipitous moment where it was like, oh, that sounds cool, let's just keep it. Anyhow, in the comments section, a lot of people were bringing up the idea of Metallica actually speeding up the entire track in the studio of Master of Puppets. And I started to wonder about that process and if it was actually true. So I ended up ordering Flemming Rasmussen's course where he walks through the entire recording process of Ride the Lightning, Master of Puppets, and Justice for All. It's really interesting, and I'm going to do a review on that after I'm done with the whole thing. But I checked out the part where he talks about speeding up Master of Puppets, and it wasn't what I thought it was going to be. He showed this chart where he took all these notes. He took real meticulous notes, by the way, most of the time. And on that sheet, it said to record the song using the pitch of A435. So typical standard, concert pitch would be A440, which is just 5 hertz difference. And so I thought, you know what, that's way less than I thought they did. People were saying that they were tuning down half a step or a whole step and then recording it. But if they did that, in order to get the song up to regular concert pitch, they would have had to speed it up quite a bit. And I think it would have been too extreme. So the fact that they barely did this effect really doesn't make it as big a deal as I thought it was. But I thought I would still do an experiment and try it myself. So what I did was I took a riff from my old teenage metal band that I always thought was real tricky to do up to full speed. I would slow it down by a certain amount and tune down accordingly so that when I sped it back up, it would be the correct pitch and the correct, tempo. So by the way, props to Al Douglas for writing this riff. It's not an easy one to play. And by the way, I recorded the drums and the bass too. And it gave me a whole new appreciation for what my bandmates did back in the day. We were only like 15, 16 and we're recording these crazy tracks. So here's the riff. That's why this riff is the perfect candidate for this experiment, because as I slowed down the tempo, it got easier and easier to play, and you're just able to fit things into the right slots. And then when you speed it up, hopefully it sounds tighter, but we're going to see. Just so you know, the standard tempo that we did on the demo, it was 204. And then I went down to 201 for the next version. And then 198, followed by 192, and then finally 181. 181 was fun to play because I got to chill out a little bit, but I tuned down a whole step, so it was kind of weird. The strings felt a little bit floppy and stuff, so there was a bit of a trade-off right off the bat. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to jump over to Pro Tools and bring you guys with me, and you can watch my process, how I was able to, basically compress these tracks so they all ended up being the same tempo and the same pitch, even though I recorded all 5 of them at different tempos and different pitches. So let's see if this Flemming Rasmussen experiment can work and do miracles on our song and see what happens. I have 5 tracks here. So we have the real one sitting at the top, and then we have one at 201 beats per minute, one at 198, and so on, 192, and then way down there, 181. And they each sound really crazy. So here is the full speed, regular pitch version of it. Okay, it's relatively tight. I didn't spend all day practicing, but like I said earlier, the drum tracks and the bass tracks were no picnic either. Now we're going to go to the one that was slowed down just by 3 beats per minute. So this is what Metallica's ratio would be. Here's 201 beats per minute, and I tuned down just a slight bit. So it's like a quarter of a semitone. Okay, so you could maybe not tell a big difference. That's why I keep saying that the Metallica conversion wasn't that big of a deal. 3 beats per minute, but it does make a difference when I speed this up, you're going to see. Now, as I keep going, you're going to hear it slow down and get lower in pitch. That's 198. See, it's a slight change. 192. So you probably heard that one drop. Now this is a big drop, 181. Now you could tell that, the bottom ones as it goes down are getting longer because the tempo's slowing down, because you could see the length of the track. The very bottom one, the green one here, is pretty long, and then as it goes up, it's like steps. So the top one is the real one. So I figured the best way to bring these up to pitch and to speed, it took a lot of research because I suck at Pro Tools sometimes. What I'm going to do is I'm going to select the 4 tracks that I need to alter. And I just learned about this today. Verispeed. So now they're all in Verispeed mode. I call it Verispeed. And then we have to go here and choose Warp. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take 201. And I'm going to simply do this by visual. It's not very mathematical. But I'm going to take the length of this track and bring it exactly, pretty much, to where the top one is. That way it'll be the same tempo, because as you can tell, I started them all right on the 1 of the hi-hat. And this is my way of doing it scientifically. This is my bro science. Okay, so what I'll do is I'll extend it a little bit so I can really see the differences here. I'm going to grab the edge. Watch. Okay, I shrunk it. So what that did was it compressed it all in, so it's faster. So that's exactly what Flemming Rasmussen was talking about. So let's check it out now. 201, now that it's the same pitch and the same speed as the original track. Here we go. Okay, let's do 198 now. It's hard to explain, but now with it compressed like that, it's starting to sound Megadethy or Dyer's Eve like, from Justice. I don't know if they did that for that song, but it sure seems like it now that I'm hearing this. One of the trade-offs as I go to the other tempos is that the drums, because, they're recorded at a certain way, like regular speed, when you end up speeding everything up, the drum tones get higher too. Sometimes that's good, sometimes that's not good. Like the hi-hat's getting kind of high sounding. The cymbals sound a little bit, thinner, if you will. And the toms are now a little bit higher too. So everything gets a different kind of punch to it. So let's listen to 192. Okay, we're at the final one. This is the one I tuned down a whole step for, so this is going to be pretty intense. So here's what it is at 181 beats a minute. See, it sounds like it's being played on a little tiny toy kit now, but it's tight. It's very tight, but everything just has this weird quality to it now because I messed with the waveforms too much. There's only so much it'll take before it starts to, act up like that. With speeding up a tape machine, I don't think it'll do the same, type of phasing sound. I don't know, but it's just happening here. That's just one of the consequences. by the way, I played it all 5 times, you know, separate takes. So I could have had little anomalies on my own where I wasn't as tight or tighter on certain tracks. But you can see overall you still get a good tightness to it when you speed it up just a little bit. So you really can't hold it against Metallica for doing this because it's a really cool trick, and they only altered it by 3 beats per minute. If it was like 10 or something like that, I'd be like, wow, that does feel like cheating because maybe they can't really play it. But obviously they proved live that they could play it even faster than the album version, which they did for many, many decades. So, okay, everyone, hopefully you like this new format, and thanks for checking out the video. We'll catch you guys at the next one. Bye-bye.